So we're doing the screen type effect. Let's get into it. Now that we are in Davinci Resolve, head up to Effects, grab a new Fusion comp, drag it into the timeline, and head over to Fusion. We're going to start off with the background node, a text node, and a merge node. Connect the text foreground to the merge node and the background to the background. Now connect the merge to the media out. Select the text node and enter your text. Select your text color. I'm going to select green and give it the old computer look, but you can pick whatever color you want. Select on the Shading tab and select Element 3 and make sure it's enabled. Now select the border fill. We are going to change the color of the border fill to match the text. We're going to sharpen it by selecting the softness and lowering the X and Y values. Extend it slightly. Click back on the text tab and right-click in the style box and select Follower. Now click on the Modifier tab. Select all characters for the range. Order left to right and delay type to between first and last character. And change the delay to around 50. Click back on the Shading tab. Uncheck Enabled. Make sure you are on frame 1 of the timeline. Select the keyframe on opacity and drop it down to 0. Move to frame 2 and increase opacity back to 1. Select Element 3 and make sure border fill is selected if it isn't already. Change your current frame to -0.9. Set the opacity to 0 and set a keyframe. Now change the current frame to 0.08. Bring the opacity back to 1. Now change the frame to 1.08 and bring the opacity back down to 0. This is what we should have right now. Now we will add another text node and merge it into the first merge. Hit F2 and rename it to Cursor Flash. This will be the flashing cursor after the text ends. To make it flash, we will need to set an expression. In the text box, add an O. Change the color to match the other text. Click the Shading tab and select Element 3 and enable it. Select Border Fill and change that color to match your text. Bring the softness, X and Y values down. Switch back to Element 1 and uncheck Enabled. This way you won't see the text, but you'll see the border flashing. Now go back to Element 3 and right-click on Opacity. Select Modify With and select an expression. Now click the Modifiers tab and click the 4th tab over, which is Config. Now in the Numbers control, uncheck everything except for the first one because we only need one. Now uncheck all point controls because we don't need any of those. Click on the first number control and rename it to Speed. Now click on the second tab and enter the expression SIN parentheses time times N1 parentheses. Click the Controls tab and change the value to 25. Now you want to find the frame that your text stops at. Mine's around 52. So you want to change the global in to that number so it doesn't start flashing until your text is complete. Now move your cursor over to the end of your text and line it up. Now we'll add the scan lines. Select your Merge To node and hit Shift Space. Type in scan lines and hit Enter. In the inspector, you want to increase the line sharpness all the way up, and the line frequency, you want to play around with it until you find something that you like. And that's an easy way to do the screen text effect. And if you don't want to go through all that, I did leave a link in the description to my macro. You can go ahead and download that, play around with it. And if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe. And remember, keep creating. I'd like to take this time to thank our Filmcore crew members. And those members are Dylan Painter, Dustin Clark, Carl Robbins, Little Thrusty, Bobby Saravanera, Danny Gowan, and Vicky and David Ingblom. If you guys want to become a Filmcore crew member, check the link in the description and hit that become a crew member.